Testing, testing. Wait, it came through? Wait, you can hear me? All right, everyone let me know in the chat when and if you can hear me. It should be coming through now, I think. It was weird. I was trying to like restart the loopback, which is what I use, and apparently the audio came through like as I killed it and then opened it back up. I don't know. Anyway, hello everyone. This is great. Ryan, Jason, Mustafa, Brud, Amit, Henrik, Mustafa, Brandon Roberts, Eli. Cool. Thanks everyone for checking the audio there. I usually you think after like all these years of streaming and stuff, people would stop having issues with audio and video, but it still happens, which is fine. Let me send out a tweet to let everyone know that we are live, and then we'll get started. I am really looking forward to this stream. I think this is going to be a ton of fun. So let me send out the tweet, and then I will be ready. Streaming, adding Supabase to learn, build, teach, Discord bot and site and website built with SvelteKit. Eyes emoji. Always happens on demos. Yes, it does. Cool. Well, Brud, awesome that you're using Supabase. I think how many people are using, I'd say like raise your hand like I can see it, but just leave a comment in the chat. How many people are using Supabase? Or actually just give me feedback in the chat with comments. Are you using Supabase? Have you used it before? Is it something you've looked into or heard about but you haven't got to use? Just give me an idea of where people are, and that maybe can kind of frame some of the conversation as we go through. Ryan Roger raises his hand. Thank you for the like response, the visual response. By the way, I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So if you hear me call out a comment that you don't see, it may be on the other platform. So it's on both. Richard, planning on using it for a project soon. I have only played around with it. Cool. Love it. Eli played around with it. Yep. I imagine there's lots of people in this boat. Currently using Supabase in production for a SaaS I'm building. Noah, feel free to share like any additional extra details you have about that. If you have a link that you want to share about the project that you're building, share it in the chat. I'd love to see it. Using it for testing things and playing around. Sweet. Amit says, never used it before. Oh, you had a typo. Alex Trost Codes is in the chat. What's up? Nikki T is here on Switch as well. Again, on 2 different platforms. So if you hear a comment or a person that you don't see, maybe on the other platform. B1 Mind, what's up? So I'm going to give, I guess I can go ahead and share my screen. There's a couple of things I want to cover first. Brandon's using it on open source. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Yeah. Been thinking about giving Supabase a try. Just can't find the time. Mark Huggins. Cool. This is awesome. So let me, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Share screen. I'm going to get this one up. And there's a couple things I want to start with. One is this stream is quite convenient for me because Supabase is one of my favorite platforms out there. It's one of the things I'm most excited about. And when I think about building an application myself, Supabase is easily one of the first things that come to mind for a few reasons. One of the things that I think is really hard to come by is authentication. And so this is kind of interesting going from working at Auth0 as an authentication company. And I'm a huge fan of the Auth0 product, and specifically the Next.js SDK is Next.js and React SDKs for Auth0 are top notch. But when you get outside of that and you try to go to Svelte or SvelteKit or something else, there's not as much, there's not as strong of a story there. And that's just kind of the nature of it, of having to build SDK specifically for those different platforms is a tough thing to do. So I'm still a huge fan of Auth0. I think it's amazing for React and Next.js. But when I get into these other frameworks, I feel like that's the thing that's missing. It's just like, how do I do authentication? And there's a few other really good options that are similar to Supabase. And this one, we're talking about Supabase. But they reached out and asked if I wanted to be part of the Supabase content storm. And this is just getting on as a creator and creating content around Supabase, as you can probably guess by the Supabase content storm. So I'm going to throw this link in the chat. If you go and look on the page, you'll probably see some other creators Anya Kubo is one of my favorites. Patrick Lober, and then some others in here. There's my new like selfie picture, which I'm really a big fan of on here. So, from what's possible about setting up HTTPS using a tool. What was it? So you can use OAuth and Ryan, you're probably talking about ngrok. If you're looking at testing HTTPS stuff locally, it opens up a tunnel to be used externally, which forwards stuff to your local host. So that's ngrok is probably what you're talking about. But one of the things I've been thinking about is Caddy also. Yeah. Yep, that's a good one. Or I've heard them talk about that too. Well, one of the things I wanted to do is build an admin dashboard for the learnbuildteach.com website. So learnbuildteach.com is built with SvelteKit. It's very, very super basic, and there's not that much here. Right now it has homepage with just basic information with a button to join the Discord. Go and join the Discord if you haven't already. It's pretty fun. And it has a content page, and this is what I think is one of the cool things about our Discord is I have a Discord bot that people can use a share command inside of Discord. They can share a link to something that they've created that will save it in a database for me, and then I can go and tag that information to say this is something that I approve to include in an email newsletter and or to send a tweet. And actually, if you have noticed on Twitter the last couple of days, this has started back again. Sometime in the middle of the night, I have an automated thing that goes out and it tweets a piece of content. I'll have to scroll back to last night. Tweets a piece of content that someone in the Learn, Build, Teach community created and shared in our Discord. Kelvin has created a ton of content. You'll probably see a lot of his content shared. And so what this bot does, or I guess it's a cron job, it goes and looks for a piece of content that I have approved. So you have to tag it as approved so we don't just automatically tweet stuff in case people share bad stuff. It grabs that, it tweets it out, and it shares it. And then it marks it as tweeted so it doesn't get tweeted again. Jay Barrios, yes, Joshua, Code Fellowship, gotcha. I know on YouTube. Yep, you're not late. I'm just kind of introducing what we're doing today. So my thought is I eventually want to have Supabase be the backend for both the Discord bot as well as the backend for the website, and then build on an admin dashboard here to be able to do things like approve content for newsletter and Twitter. I actually have this right now. I wonder if is this okay to show? Let me do this really quickly. I think I can do this. We have in Discord, so only the admins will know this. But inside of Discord, we have all the things that people share get sent to a shares review channel, which is only for admins. And we have little icons in here to approve these things. So this little check mark approves it, and it gives you a note. Approves for both Twitter and email, or you could approve them individually, and then you can mark this as emailed and or tweeted, if that makes sense. So I think it's super, super cool. And so I want to move the entire backend to using Supabase. I want to then layer on the website, the admin dashboard for admins to come in and do some of that work, as well as other things. One additional feature I want to add is like, give me 5 recent pieces of shared content so I can copy them quickly and into my newsletter and then mark them as sent. Anyway, so that's the high level of what we're working on today. Let me know if you have any questions, comments about any of that stuff. Let me know, but that's what I'm planning on kind of building through today. The other thing I think hopefully would be like being able to share the Supabase project with other people, I think is part of this as well. So if you have specific things you want to see inside of SvelteKit, inside of Supabase, again, let me know. Other links that would be relevant. Ken Jones, stoked, great, I appreciate it. Shailesh, you're a great instructor. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thanks for being here and hanging out. So a couple of links. If people are interested in participating in some way, and I would actually like for this to be more engagement from people in the community than it has been so far, which is mainly my fault because I'm just not a good open source leader in terms of setting stuff up for people to use. So that's like my fault, but I would love for more people to be involved with this. Question on YouTube really quickly. What do you think about using Supabase client side versus server side? I still haven't worked with the new server side auth SDK yet. That was something I was supposed to try out and incorporate into a course I was working on. with Amy that we ended up not doing or not using that piece. And so in this case, all the stuff I've done with Supabase is just client side, but I would like to be able to tie that into both server and client side with a new SDK, and maybe we'll try that out today. The cost structure question there, you have to look at the pricing page because I don't know right offhand. This will just be like basic details and stuff, but you can look up the specific details on their pricing page and go and see all the stuff you want. The other thing I want to do really quickly, and I would encourage other people to do this as well. So Supabase does launch week announcements for all their big launches, and they've got launch week number 6 coming up next week. And I am going to go ahead and sign up so I get my ticket. So I encourage you to do this too. There's a link in the chat to the launch week. Go ahead and sign up, and you should get your ticket. I'm going to connect with GitHub, and then I should have mine. This is a cool thing. I wonder if this is from the original code from the Vercel team because they created something. These things are always just dope though. So I'm going to download this and I'll have it to share later on. And then I'm going to go ahead and tweet this as well. I got my tickets for Supabase launch week. Sweet. Learn to Kim. Did people know Jason Langsdorff? He's going full-time content, by the way, which is super cool. Just registered. Very nice. Sean, watch your video on your London trip. Hopefully you mean the conference. Oh, actually, no. What video? Oh, the video from Modern Front Ends. Got that video. Yes. Hopefully you enjoyed it or at least appreciate it. It's kind of an interesting topic for me. Supabase, Mark is asking if Supabase is Postgres. Supabase is Postgres behind the scenes. So it's a Postgres database. Yep. Just registered. No way, Jason's going full-time technical content creator like me. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think somebody I look up to so much is now going full-time content like me. Jason's amazing, but cool. So I think everyone has the links to the 2 projects, the GitHub repos, and I'm going to go ahead and just dive in. So again, as you have questions, comments, throw them in the chat. I'm going to kind of work through this and see where we get, and maybe we can get some idea from you all about where to start with this. All right. I've got a few different things in here. I'm going to create a new project. And I guess this will just be organization name. What's the name? Oh, I wonder. Oh, this is a new organization. Okay. So I can do that, I think, under the free tier. I believe. Sean, appreciate you doing that. It's hard to call people out unless they drop the ball as that person did. Yeah. So Sean is referring to one of my latest videos is on a negative experience we had at a conference in London. Kind of universally, everyone had a pretty negative experience. Made me uncomfortable to share that, but it was bad enough and questionable enough that I thought it was important to share. So that video is out there if you want to go look at that video. All right, so this will be, we'll just call this learn, build, teach as well. I'm going to create a database password, which if I use this, I think you'll see. Yeah, so actually, let me pause. Let me take my screen off so you don't see me generate this password. Dun, dun, dun. Type in a strong password that is super strong. And then I need to go ahead and save this. Let me know, how do you save private credentials and things? Do people use LastPass? So I'm going to open up my dashboard and add a note for the learn, build, teach Supabase. And DB password is in there. That's if I need to access the database directly. I'm going to put this in the region. I think I can come back and show now my screen. Okay, so it's going to be on the free plan. It's in the East US region, and let's just create the new project. I use 1Pass, extremely secure, tons of features. 1Pass, much safer than LastPass. Oh, so I actually don't know as much about the hacks with LastPass. Maybe that's something for me to look into. So several people are saying 1Pass. So, and Bitwarden. Okay, maybe that's something I need to rethink. So yeah, thanks for the insights there. Okay, so you can all see this this anon API key. I'm going to go ahead and actually use this, but let's see, where do I want to start? I want to start inside of the learn, build, teach website. And to add this to my environment variables, I actually need to hide the rest of them that are in there. So let me remove my screen again. Sorry about this. Add an environment variable for Supabase anon key. Actually, nothing else in here is private because I'm not actually using this other thing that I thought I was. So I think I can actually show you what I'm doing. Yes, I can. Okay, so I'm done. Add to stream. So this is my .env. So I'm adding the Supabase anon key. Now the reason I can do an anonymous key and you can see it is that's gonna basically be read access only. We're gonna have other keys if we need to do stuff otherwise, but this will be associated with users eventually, so you won't have access to do things that that you shouldn't be able to. I learned front end Supabase is needed. Supabase is an amazing platform to build full stack applications so that you don't have to build out a full back end yourself. Takes care of database and authentication, and lots of other stuff, which is really beneficial. So I love Supabase. So that's me. All right. Maybe polling from the audience. Do you think we should start with data models of what kind of data we're going to put in Supabase, or do you think we should start with authentication? Which one would you like to see? Like structuring data inside of Supabase or adding authentication to the learn, build, teach site? I assume auth is going to be the winner. Ryan says auth. I'll give people a couple more votes. Let me know what else you all prefer. I think you always start at the data layer. Mark, I think you need to have users for them to actually put things into the database tables. Model? What's up, Josh? I don't know what. Oh, data model. You just misspelled. I was like, what is that word? Auth. I've got a 50-50 here on auth and data model so far. So let's actually do this. Let's start with data model. And what we're going to do, and I need to figure out how to best structure some of this stuff. But can I look at my TypeScript types for a share? How do I get to that? So share DB, and then can I look at this thing? There we go. So for the content that people share, that's the main thing that gets stored in the database now. So that's what we're gonna look at first. This is the data that we use. So it has a Discord, or it has a user ID. It has, and I'm gonna have to migrate all of that stuff over. Scion, what's up? It has the link to the content. It has a title. It has a URL to an image, a description, and then it has flags for tweetable, emailable, tweeted, emailed, and then when it's created. So this is the information that we're gonna port over to Supabase. Can you pull any of the models out of the Prisma client for the bot? That's exactly what I'm doing. So in the Discord bot, we're using Prisma and PlanetScale, which works amazing. Prisma is absolutely incredible. PlanetScale is a great option for a database. Just Supabase having all the stuff in one place, I think is huge. So that's what I'm going to run with. But this is the data model that was generated from, or the type that was generated from the Prisma client. And you can see this comes from the Prisma schema here. So this is all the data that we will need to move over eventually. So, all right. So we can start to kind of do this piece by piece. So let's go into our database. Let me know. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. We'll create a new table. We'll call this shares, and this is content shared from the Learn, Build, Teach community. We will, I'm going to not enable RLS yet, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So our ID, I'm going to do this as a UUID. All right, so we'll say default value. Can I do? Yeah, we'll generate. So if it doesn't have a UUID, when we create it, when we try to save a record, it will automatically generate the UUID. We have our created at, so that's going to be taken care of for us. Now for naming, I think I had an issue this before, but I think I'm going to just follow the naming convention for that I have in here. So camel case basically instead of the other thing. And then we can just kind of go through and do the rest of these properties. So we'll have a link, and we can go into like different pieces of text and other things, I think we'll just do a varchar for all of these. So we'll have a link. We will have a title. This will be a varchar as well. Varchar Supabase SQL DB Postgres. Scion on Twitch. Yes, Supabase uses Postgres underneath the hood, which is a SQL database, and you actually have direct access to the database if you want it. All right. So title, we'll have a description. This can be a little bit longer, so we'll have this be variable. I guess it could still. This could still be the same thing as a varchar. I think with text, you end up choosing the size. I can't remember. Yes, it actually is really cool. So you have all this stuff built on top of it. Then you have access to the actual thing, the actual database, regardless. Image URL. This, and did I capitalize? I always let me know. Do you capitalize URL all the way or just the U in URL? I don't know. All right, so it'll be this one, and then we'll have our booleans. So tweet to bull, and this will be boolean, and then emailable, and this will be boolean. Then we'll have whether or not this thing has already been tweeted. So bool again, and then whether or not this thing has already been emailed, because you don't want to email something that's already been emailed. You don't want to tweet something that's already been tweeted. All right. The other thing that we're missing is a reference to, well, I guess this just says a user ID. Pretty much every time I type out URL as a variable, I switch. But yeah, Noah, I do that. Like I capitalize all of URL, then I capitalize U, and I switch too. And I should pick one. I think I actually prefer all uppercase, but that's just me. And I don't actually stick to it, which is a problem. So cool. And then user ID. So this is a string, and I think this is going to end up being, I think we stored. So these are Discord users, and I think we need to name that appropriately because we need to differentiate in this case users like admin users, which are part of the users that are tracked inside of auth with Supabase. The difference between that and a Discord user. So I think in this case, let's go ahead and save this. So we'll add these 10 columns. Does anybody have a piece of content that they've recently created? And then we can just add that in here for funsies. And so let's add a new table. And this is going to be Discord user. So users from the Learn, Build, Teach Discord users. I think this will just be read information. Actually, we can go ahead and lock this down because we don't want people to edit it. So we'll have to accommodate for adding reading in here. So for a given user, we actually have several things. So I'm gonna do something kind of fun. I'm gonna go through and use my clipboard history and copy these. So these are all the things that people have access to keep. We'll come back to Kudos because we need to do that. But this is all the information about a user that they have the ability to update their profile inside of our Discord community. So I'm going to go back to, all right, so we'll have username. This will be var. And we'll have GitHub. This will be a little tedious. So just kind of stick with me as we do this part. Oh, importing via spreadsheet would be a good idea if I had one handy. Twitter. The other thing I'm going to have to do is do a migration of copying all the data out of where it already is into Supabase at some point. But we'll have to get this stuff set up. So I'm just going through all these different properties. If you don't have a tool that can do multiple clipboard history, highly recommend getting it. It's one of like the things I use the absolute most. TikTok. So these are, again, all properties that people can save about themselves so that other people can know where to find them. Okay, num messages is going to be what do you use for clipboard history? I use what comes with Raycast. Great question, Richard on Twitch. So I use FlyCut, which is only on Mac as far as I know. Noah's asking what OS. I'm on Mac, so I use FlyCut, which is amazing. There is a specific reason why I didn't use Raycast, and I think it's just something to do with my workflow, and I can't exactly remember exactly what that was. But the way my clipboard history works is I use my shortcut, which is Command Shift V, and then I can toggle through them left and right. And then after I release, it pastes the thing. So I don't have to like go and click anything, which I think is what I had to do with Raycast. So Jim Johnson, it's one of my biggest recommendations for people by far. Mark is using Raycast. Yeah. Cool. Windows has built in now if you enable in settings. That's interesting. That's really cool. I didn't know that. So so what do I call this? Number of messages, a 2-byte integer. Is there 2-byte? How many 2-byte integer? How many numbers can you represent with 2 bytes? But 2 bytes, for 2 bytes, we have this, which is 65,000. So at some point we would hit a limit. We can do this as int4. I don't know. At some point we'll hit a limit, but we also have XP. So we keep track of every time people send messages, we increment that XP. We're not using any of that recently, but we want to. And then we have a reference. We actually have a reference to our shares. So this will be shares, and this will be, what is this button here? Yeah, so they are foreign key to the share table, to shares. Select a column from shares to, and how do we do this with Polywork for Twitter? I haven't seen that extension, Waleed, so I'm not sure. Not sure. When I do share, select a table to reference, I want to do a one-to-many relationship with shares. So one person has many shares. Select a column for shares. And I think I need to actually create that column is what I'm missing. So let me get rid of that one. And what else do we have? So we have shares, then we have Kudos. We haven't done Kudos yet. Last active timestamp. So let me copy that. And then we'll have our created at as well. Let's create it in here. Yep. And let's rename that this way. And last active timestamp will be a timestamp Z as well. I think that should get most of that. Now, the one thing we can do is go back into shares. And in this case, we need to add the user ID. I guess user ID works. And this will be is this going to be the foreign key relationship? Because from the share, you can find the user. Discord user. So we should have created, which one comes first? Because we have to have that one. Somebody help me talk through this. So I want to have this relationship between a user and shares. It's one-to-many. Oh, gotcha. Okay, thanks, Mark. So on the share, we should have a user ID property that is a foreign key relation to the shares table, and it's going to reference the ID. Am I in the shares table? It should reference the Discord user. It should reference the ID of the Discord user. Corey Weathers, what's up? I get to see Corey in January, by the way. Can we all celebrate that I get to do that? I'm excited about that. One-to-many shares. So shares should have the user ID, which I think is where I've gotten. So on the shares table, we've got a foreign key relationship to the Discord user on the ID of that Discord user. So this is going to give us the association that we want. I think that works. Cool. This is why it's nice to have friends and stream. What, you get to see the Corey Weathers? Yes, I do, and I am stoked about it. Sweet, I know. Lucky Marcus says yes. I'm very much looking forward to it. So we can also do. We haven't done Kudos yet, so let's go ahead and just do our basic model for Kudos. Kudos. I guess one of the things I should probably do. I think these are. Do you usually name your tables if you're naming them properly, singular or plural? What did I do actually in here? Oh no, I did them singular here, so I should do. I do. Corey's just a speaker. I am doing a keynote at that conference US. Since you mentioned it, I'll bring it up. So this is the one in January in Round Rock, Texas, which should be a lot of fun. I actually have a link for a discount if you remember to ask me for that, because I don't have it handy. Let me know. Where's the schedule for this thing? Schedule, and then I'll pull up my thing. After the workshops, I actually got moved to day 2 now. I think. I don't know if it's been updated in here. Maybe that's where I was originally. Anyway, so there that is. So check this out. Corey needs to submit his talk. Yeah. Code Fellowship, are you planning on going in July next year? Plan on bringing your wife and kids? I don't know yet. I'll definitely let you know. I saw an Austin Gill in there. Yeah, I think he is. So I'll get to meet him there too. Which is on building secure backends for front ends. Nice. Again, I gave Aussier a shout out earlier. So very cool. All right. So what are we doing? We're doing our Kudos. So we have a Kudo category, and eventually I don't know exactly right offhand how to model that. So I'm just going to do a varchar right now. Like eventually it should come from a what's it called? An enum table inside of here, which I just don't know how to do right now. So I'll just do this as category string. Then we'll have description. This will be varchar. I had points for each. What is this? For each Kudos. So if you give people Kudos, we could potentially have like multiplier and stuff. So how many points is a Kudo worth? This will be int 2. You have a receiver. So you have a receiver, and this is going to link to the Discord user and its ID property. And then you also, oh no, did I do shoot? Rats, I forgot to update all these to UUID. Shoot. Let me get rid of the receiver for now. Let me save that. Let me go back and update. So many things to learn in such little time. I agree. I'm right there with you. Discord user, can I just change this to a UUID? Is that going to mess up that relationship that I already created? I think it will. Yep. Okay. So this is unfortunate. So this means that I need to cancel this. Go back to the shares. I'm also, by the way, I'm going to rename this and be a little better with this being singular. And then I'm going to get rid of the user ID property that I just created. I'm going to go into my Discord user. I'm going to change this now to a UUID. Cannot cast big type. PG columns. Do I have to recreate this? Does anybody know? I would have thought I could just change this to be, now that nothing is referencing it, cannot cast type big int to UID. But I don't have any actual Discord users. Rats. And that sucks. Anybody know if there's like a small F5 maybe? What is F5? Just refresh? Oh, not whatever I just pressed. John, what's F5 for? Is that for is that the refresh? Might be because it's primary key. I think it is. Refresh. Can can I change my primary key? Can I like assign? I'm just gonna create another thing and have this be Discord user ID. Can I just say this is gonna be the primary key now? Will it switch it for me? And then like Discord user ID relation Discord user relation column. Not sure what that means. Okay. Am I going to have to rats try unfreezing the columns? Is there a thing for that? Oh, unfreeze. I didn't even know that was a thing. And let's generate this by default. No, still same thing. Does it have the foreign key relationship already? Typically, you can't modify it. That's what I thought I got rid of. I thought I got rid of the foreign key relationship, which would allow me to do this. Let me just double check. So Kudo, that has a user ID there correctly. Share. I got rid of that relationship, which I thought rats. Annoying. If I duplicate it, does it give me? I don't think it's going to give me the ability to. Let's see. Same thing. Okay, rat. So I have to recreate that thing. Dang, dang, dang. Should have paid more attention. So let's delete that. And then we just have to create Discord user again. So let's delete Discord user. Add new table. Discord user. We'll enable role level security. ID will be a UUID. It will auto generate. And rats now have all those properties that I had before. So we have a username. I'll probably keep these short and I'll go back and do the rest of these data models later on. So we'll do like GitHub and what was the last one? Twitter. And what else did I have in there? So I'll come back again and do the rest of these later. But then I had number of messages, which is 4, and then XP, which is 4 again. Do the created at this way. Here's good practice on creating data models, I guess. So this is a Discord user. So we'll save that. Again, I got more properties to come back and add, but we'll save the Discord user. We'll come back to our share and we'll have the user ID. This is a foreign key relationship to the Discord user and the ID property there. So this should be a UUID. Actually don't want that to be nullable. Each share should be associated with a person, I believe. And then for Kudos, we were starting to add, what were we adding inside of Kudos? So we were adding the receiver, which is a foreign key relationship to Discord user ID property. Allow nullable. No, we don't want it to be null. And we have the receiver and the giver. Is that right? Receiver, giver, foreign key relationship to the Discord user ID. Points, multiplier, multiplier. So this is if there's like some sort of promotion going on, we can have int to default value 1. Not nullable, so I'll always give it a default value. Okay, so I think that should be the basics of our data models. Does anybody want to volunteer to be, I'm going to create myself as a Discord user. So I'm gonna auto generate that. I'm gonna have my Discord username, my GitHub. If you don't have a tool for creating short links like this, if you're watching these, you should get one. You should absolutely get one. So I'm going to go ahead and create a user here. I'm also going to update the defaults of num messages. So let's update the default, not nullable, but default of 0. And then we'll have same thing for XP. Default value 0, not nullable. What's up, Reverse? So question from Reverse on course for Learning Svelte. So I was working on this course with Amy Dutton up until recently. I've actually since backed out just because we kind of had some trouble organizing everything together. So she's actually going and finishing this course. But this is going to be a pretty amazing course called Everything Svelte. So you can check that out if you're interested in some pretty deep SvelteKit stuff. So it's a lot in it. She's amazing. The content is going to be amazing. So you can check that out. All right. So we've got some basic data models. I say a lot of people kind of were interested in the authentication piece. So I say we go ahead and start that. I'm going to look into Supabase JS. Let's just look up the JavaScript reference here. JavaScript library. And let's go to is it this one for the documentation? That's not what I'm looking for. I guess it's on this page. It's right here. Okay. So installing. So we're going to install the Supabase SDK. Now this is in the SvelteKit project. So I'm going to create a branch, add Supabase. Then we'll install the Supabase SDK. And then let's see, initialize it. I'm going to create inside of my folders under helpers. I'm going to create a Supabase JS. I just realized we're not using TypeScript yet in here. And I would like to use TypeScript. So I should get on that sometime soon. Initializing. So what we want to do is just export something like this. Something like this. Oh, there's a little copy button. That makes it easier. Things are kind of new. I want to learn right from the start, since I don't have enough time to deep dive and trial and error. Hope this gives me a beginner-friendly path. It should be nice. Just know, Reverse, who was asking about the Everything Svelte course, that's a work in progress. So all the content is not finished. There's a lot of stuff that's there so far. So anyway, you can look into that. Is Zod something you can use for this? Zod is for like data validation, like types and stuff. So maybe I'm wondering, there's like nothing in here. There's nothing in here that would be complicated to migrate to TypeScript. Is this dangerous if I go ahead and try to do this? Migrate, add TypeScript to SvelteKit. Is this dangerous? Am I doing too much? Let's see. Check what happens if you add lang. That's true. So you can add lang type. This is where I need Brittany or someone from the SvelteKit community to know. Adding TypeScript to an existing. This is going to be an old project, so I don't know. Because there's more. There's tsconfig and stuff. I'm surprised there's not a command. Is this going to be recent? These are older. This is. SvelteKit docs. Let me look really quickly in here to see if they have anything for TypeScript. No npx. Like an npx command for that? Not that I know of. Because I really want to use TypeScript. I could do TSC init. Honestly, I enjoy TypeScript. Setting up TypeScript is still a hassle for me. Yeah, so like I could do What could I do? I wonder. Hmm, let me see. Oh, oh, not that. That's not what I wanted. I thought I just did. Okay. I'm gonna try something really quickly. Don't get annoyed. Go back out of this CD into delete me npx felt. How do you create a new SvelteKit project? Creating a project. This sk test SvelteKit skeleton with TypeScript ESLint prettier. No, no. Cool. So let's open this up. O-R sk test. And just copy this over. Does that seem reasonable? I am going to see. So let's add the tsconfig JSON, Vite config. This doesn't have anything to do with TypeScript. Does this have anything to do with TypeScript? I don't think it does. I think this should all work the same as well. Is there any other config file? There's prettier files. There's ESLint. I've got ESLint. I've got prettier files. I think I maybe should get rid of this, and I'm scared I'm going to break stuff. But I think I would need to get rid of the JS config. Also, does this have a property in here for path aliases are handled by, I can get this back if I delete it. Have you ever my audio is flip flopping from left to right? Does anybody else hear that? Hopefully not. tsconfig replaces jsconfig. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And then just do an npm install of TypeScript like this. Great call. Would have forgotten that. Sounds fine here on Twitch. Hopefully it's coming through okay. Ryan, if you hear more, let me know. Came in light. Is this going to be saved as a standard YouTube video where I can view the portions I missed? Douglas, absolutely. It'll be long term on YouTube, so you can go and scroll through and watch as much as you want. All right. What are the chances that stuff just works? I am going to rename this to be TypeScript. And then I'm going to export this. I need to update this with environment variables here in a second. Could be my speakers now that I think about it, move some stuff around when I set up my new monitor. Cool. If anybody hears any audio issues, just let me know. And then I feel like I do a lot of YOLO type stuff where I just go through and start. I don't know. I do a lot. So if I start YOLOing a little too much, let me know. Routes, these should all be page and svelte files, I think. And that was all the JS files, I think. Is vsconfig, that's still a JSON file, which is okay. Y'all want to try to just run this? npm run dev. Open this. Let's get the browser up on the next tab. Sweet. It works. So hopefully that's TypeScript. I think. I'm good with it. So now we need to add these two environment variables. And for these environment variables, they come from like meta.env. So something like this. Oop. Worth 100%. I agree. I'm with you. Cool. So import.meta.env, and then I'm going to set this to Supabase anon key. And I can, in theory, I could just throw this in here, although it's going to give me an issue. Actually should go in this one. So that's the anon key. And then the first part is like the domain of my project. And so that is going to be inside of here under like the general settings, I believe. Project URL. So this will be the import.meta.env.supabase. Did I call that project URL? And then let's copy that. Go to the .env, which I should be able to show you. Add Supabase project URL, and then paste in that thing. But actually didn't. I'm surprised. I thought it was going to yell at me because this thing could come back as null, and it requires that. So I'm wondering if maybe it won't yell at me. That'd be cool. Sweet. So that should work. Now, the one thing that I don't, or one thing I definitely don't have in place for this is, what am I saying? Is like UI for all this stuff. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to kind of like build all this stuff from scratch, which or like probably just not style it for a while. So this will probably be a work in progress for several weeks, to be quite honest. So if people are interested in contributing to it, the links, I can grab the link again for the GitHub repo. But it was back earlier on in the stream. All right, so we want to add authentication. Let me close a bunch of these tabs. And I am going to add authentication inside of a route called like admin, I think. So I'm going to add an admin folder, and we may have like nested pages in here, but to start, is there anything specific you'd want contributed? Yeah, great question. No, see, this is where I'm a terrible open source maintainer, because no, I don't have that unless you have something that you're particularly good at or interested in working on, then I could kind of like allocate something like that for you. So if you have ideas, feel free to share, but I don't have specific things yet. And that's like, I'm going to have to wrap my head around like all the things that we're going to have to do. But like brainstorm question here. So I want to have an admin dashboard. I guess we'll have an admin dashboard, but then we'll also have a separate login page. So we'll have a separate login page, and inside of here, we will want our, is that the syntax now? Page.svelte? I think that's what it looks like. Yeah. So page.svelte, and then what does this look like? Oh, and I guess all of these have to have lang equals ts. So we can just do stuff right in here. So inside of here, we're gonna have a form. They should have like, they have auth server only. So that's for admin stuff. We will have a sign in with OTP. They give you a little form in here to copy. No, they do not. Wonder, I would also like to add Tailwind to this. Am I doing too much now? All right, let me grab this little snippet. Let's add this up here. So this is gonna be a script with a lang ts. Await Supabase. So we'll import Supabase. And then we'll have sign in is an async function like that. Make sense? What just happened? Mark, you asking about something specific? Or did you like step away or something? Hopefully nothing like cut out with the stream or anything. Mod cleared chat and got a weird message. Guy disabled followers only mode for this room. One guy cleared chat, one guy enabled 1 month. Huh. I'm not sure. Something weird just happened on Twitch. Cleared chat now in slow mode. But it looks like one guy came in and did chat for non-moderators. Clear chat for non. Was there spam in there at some point? Also, one guy, are you here with us? I don't know. Douglas on YouTube, does anyone here know how Veet chooses what port to use or how to change it? Is there a config setting? I don't actually know this by default. So Veet port config. I'm sure in the Veet config JavaScript file, you can define the port. I just don't know exactly what that looks like. Yeah, I don't know exactly just that port where I guess probably think there's a V. Yeah, I would assume it goes inside of the Veet config. Veet config port. Not there. It doesn't look like it goes there, but probably somewhere in the Veet config you can define that. All right, so we're going to sign in if there's an error to do something, and then else we will call go to, and we'll call go to slash admin. So that is a page here on the admin page. Let's create our page dot svelte, and then inside of here we'll say admin page. The Veet config under the server object. Let's try that really quickly. Server and then port. See how TypeScript gives you all this stuff? So you could add 3000 as your port there. So that's how you do that. That'd be a great like little TikTok video. Thing just whistled. All right, so we have our admin page, we have our login, and now we need a basic form. So let's create this. We'll have a label for email, have an input type text, name, email. We can also hang on, let's get on that new stuff to create TikToks about. Yes. There's like if you just pay attention to the small things that you do on a daily basis, like there's infinite ideas for short form content like TikTok. So just pay attention to the small things that you do and then record them and you've got a great TikTok. We'll say that email address is going to be a variable up here that starts empty. And then I feel like this is going to sound silly, but I don't remember right offhand. Data bind value. Is that what it is? To email? Is that right? So to test this, one, we can actually use that. But first, I'm just going to log the email out. Make sure it's coming through okay. Flip it and TikTok it. Yeah, that is definitely a way that you could do it. So I'm going to go to the login page, internal server. Great, thank you. Supabase URL is required. Did I not restart the server? I may not have. Supabase project URL. Is that what I called it in .env? Supabase project. That's spelled correctly. Let's try this again. Run it. Refresh. Same thing. Rats. Supabase URL is required. Create client. Good evening. What's up, Ryan Hawkins on Twitch? Supabase project URL. That is what I put in there, right? All that spelled the same? Yes. Import.meta. All right, let's see. SvelteKit environment variables. Oh, I think, do they come, is it two separate things? Like one comes from public. I think I may have just been doing it the wrong way. So it should be, wait, is that actually how you do that? I'll use a replace statically. So for public stuff, that's how it works. Interesting. So you want to see a cool trick? See, I guess it won't quite do what I thought it would here. Because if I try to paste both of those in, I guess it kind of did. But you can copy two different things at the same time. All imports in are unused. So then I can do multiple cursors and get rid of that. Module in, okay, now I'm confused. Similar to, except that it only includes environment variables that begin with public and can therefore be safely exposed. Values are replaced statically. So that's a good point. So these should be prefixed with public. And this should say public. Oh, okay. Ooh, really? Wait, so this generates types for those variables? SvelteKit sync, npx, SvelteKit sync. Huh. So if I start to type now, what? Holy shit! Excuse my language. I didn't know that it did that. So I just had a whole discussion. Actually, I'm curious what people think. I did a thing where I wanted to get IntelliSense for. I think I can close this now. For environment variables in the Node project, and so I created a variables file, and so I defined an interface. I did validation, just seeing if they were there or not, and then I exported those variables to get so that I could have TypeScript types because it's so annoying to like import or to try to get an environment variable and have to type the whole thing out and not get IntelliSense for it. Super annoying. So the fact that that just happened is freaking cool. Noah, thank you. This is again why it's so great having people in the chat. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. Okay, now let's go back and see if we can log in. Cool. So we have our input. So going back to like things that people could contribute to, styling a basic page, that could be really nice. And then we need to have a button that says log in. Log in, log in. I like the capital. And then this is called sign in. Should we call sign in? Fine, whatever. And log email. So let's actually just see if that works. What did I just do? No, go back. Go back. Let's go into the console. And I just want to see if this. Oh, do we need to prevent default? I want my code over here. And how do I do this on the form? Prevent. How do you add that to the form? Prevent default form SvelteKit. SvelteKit's got lots of these um, little things that are built in that are super nice. On submit, prevent default, and actually attach the submit handler. Yes. Yep. So there, and then this should be sign in, and then boom. All right. So I just want to see that. Cool. Prevent default worked. SvelteKit is so nice for these things. Like that, that's stupidly cool and easy. So there's that. It's calling the form. And now if I unlock this, let's log out the error. And let's just see if we get navigated to the sign in page. Oh, actually, this would only work if I was doing this with password, which I would like to sign. Well, actually, what happens when it happens? Sign in with 1TP. So this should send an email, which is really cool that it does this. So this should send an email. How does that already? Oh, okay. So that doesn't actually mean I'm logged in. What that should say is it should pop up a message that says you just got an email. And then I go and check my email and it says confirm my sign up. Which I guess I could pull over onto this screen. What do you think? If you were an admin in this dashboard, would you want to have a password or would you just like to use OTP all the time? So I think so in this point I should be considered logged in. And I think what part of that parameter would be is passing it a URL to come back to. That's got to be part of that, right? So after you click their button, it should take you to I personally prefer using passwords. I'm kind of with you, to be honest. Option email redirect to. So that would be here. Is that right? I would think it would be. Maybe not. Let's see. What does this config look like? Sign up with 1TP, promise, auth response, credentials. Go to your client, sign in with OTP. Where do you actually pass? So email redirect to is a parameter of, I think it should go there. Yeah, it should be an optional parameter. Prefer using passwords. Fair enough. So let's actually do this. Let's do auth.sign in with password. Do password here. We'll create a password variable. Again, we're still missing style, so ignore that. We'll duplicate this. Password. Also, that input should be type email. This one should be password, name, email, name. This should be password. All right. All right. So there's our email and password form. Should call sign in with password. This doesn't return any data, so we can get rid of that parameter. If there's an error, log it. Otherwise, go to the admin page. And I think what we should do actually, two things. Oh, I should not show you that page. Let me get rid of these things. Get rid of this. I don't think I need Twitter open. Everybody's seen the link for the content storm. Where am I going to? Inside of here. So really quickly, also for people who haven't seen this before, if I go into authentication and then users, you can see that I have this user created. So there's that. There's that user. Now I wonder provider email send password recovery. So maybe when I add an admin, that's what I'll do is send them a password recovery thing, which I think I still have to have a workflow for them to do. So anyway, I'm going to delete this user. I'm going to come into the authentication space and go into application and get rid of all of my local storage. And I think this should now be considered to be logged out. I'm going to duplicate the login. So I'm going to duplicate this and have this be sign up. Go into this one, email, password. We'll have a verify password. Verify password. If password does not equal verify password, alert, and then return. So if those don't match, go ahead and return, and then we can duplicate this for the verify. Verify. Find value verify. We can just shorten this to I don't know. What would y'all call that verify password? I think that's probably a good idea actually. So bind that to verify password. Cool. And this will be sign up. Cool. And then we can call sign up, passing email and password. Cool. And then if that happens successfully, we can navigate to the admin page. Okay. Let's see if I go to sign up, not found. Oh, rename that to be lowercase. There it is. So might have a fun password I can use for now. Something like LBT admin. LBT admin. And let's just see. Fun password. Thank you. I appreciate that, Nikki T. Thanks for sticking with us. So it navigated us to the login page, or excuse me, the admin page. What this should mean, we didn't actually have. So let me see. We didn't actually, we aren't actually considered logged in yet, I don't think, because we need to. So this like, oh, that's not what I want. Copy link address. So this is the link that came to my email. So that should send us here. And it leaves the access token in. Do I have to handle that somehow? Am I supposed to do something with that? Let's see. Sign in or sign up. Oh, I bet the Supabase SDK is not being loaded until you go to sign up. And I bet what happens is that stuff goes away and gets set. Yep. So Supabase wasn't actually loaded yet. So we'll just need to make sure that we load that in. Also, we should be able to redirect them to so this sign up configuration. Let's go back to the documentation. So sign up configuration, phone, password. Oh, it goes in options. That's what it is. I think. Maybe not. Am I reading this correctly? So optional object. No, those are different things. Object required. Password, email, options. Yeah, under options, it should be email redirect to. Why am I not getting IntelliSense for this? I'm wondering. And this should be our domain. So we need to have app domain, and we'll do public app domain, and we'll have that be HTTP localhost 5173. So this will be an environment variable that will be set later on. No, SvelteKit is getting an almost religious following, with Rich Harris almost seen as a prophet of some sort. I know a lot of developers that refuse to use anything else. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So I'm not taking it to a prophetic level, but yeah. Options is missing. Oh, that's why. Okay. So should this work now? Email or return. What did I just say the thing was? Email redirect to. It's still not giving me that, right? Email redirect to. So in this case, I want to import. So I guess we need to do, what's that command again? SvelteKit sync. npm run dev. And I'm going to import this variable import from, and then if I do this, public app domain. Cool. So we want to redirect to am I in the right spot? Is this where I was a second ago? Or was I in login? No. Okay, I guess this is where I should go. So options, and then email, there it is, email redirect to, and this is going to be the, what did we call it? The public app domain, public app domain. Do y'all know what I'm doing this for, by the way? Just want to double check that makes sense. Public app domain, and then we want to go to /admin. So after we fully sign up, we want to redirect the user back to the admin page. Ryan said no, just hanging out. Yeah, so I'm setting it up to where after the user signs up, they get redirected to the admin page. And then one of the things that we need to do, I actually don't know the best way to do this, but like inside of admin, eventually we'll be using Supabase all over. But inside of admin, I want to create Anthony Hamlin. I forgot. Yeah, so we're working on the sign up process. We want to redirect them to the admin dashboard. So that's what that property was. But then to load the data, load the access token, and consider the user logged in, we need to at least import the Supabase client, even if we don't use it, which is not great. But so Supabase logged in, and eventually, in a second, we'll create something that will check to see if the user is logged in before getting to the admin page. So we'll do that in a second. But this is just importing this, hopefully, so that it will parse that stuff. So let's go through auth. I'm going to get rid of the existing user. Not now. So let's delete this. And on sign up, I'm going to get rid of this stuff. What happened on what's happening here? Console. Oh, am I running the thing? Sign up has a form. How did that? What in the world? What is that doing? Name, verify. Object literal may only specify known properties. Does anybody see what I'm looking at that's wrong? Name for verify. Bind value. Verify password should be a string up here. Object literal may only specify known properties, and NAM does not exist in input. But why is it formatting it this way? I am V confused. I've noticed SvelteKit's IntelliSense is a little glitchy. Maybe you have Copilot running. I have it placed. No, I don't have Copilot running. Whoa. Script. Oh, is this not a closing? Wait, how do you? I always forget which is. No, that should go there. How does script not have import? Cannot find. What? You probably just need to restart the language service. Missing the E low input. Where is that? Missing the E low input? I'm not sure where that is. Login. What? Anthony, what do you mean by the E low input? Hopefully this is just something with the editor kind of freaking out. I saw you're live, wanted to pop in and say thanks for the Svelte videos. Not a big front-end developer, but your videos have helped dramatically for stuff that I was developing. John, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That actually means a lot as a content creator when people get a lot out of the content that we create. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for checking in. I love Svelte, so I am happy. I'm planning on creating more Svelte content. So just so you know. Try it now. How does it work? This is what I've got typed in, right? That's the same. Do you have any suggestions for developers wanting to get into content creation? I don't know if that's like sorry, the name was missing the E, but it was in the extra form code. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this is just okay. But it still gives me an error here. Okay, let's try this really quick and see if it works. LBT admin. I will change this later, by the way. Okay. So it gets me to the admin page, which actually I don't want to have this redirect. I want to have an alert. That says check your email. When I have that, and then inside of my email, I'm going to check my email, and hopefully what we'll see is that this will take us to the admin page. It will process that access token, and I will be considered logged in. So that right there. Sweet. Okay, question about wanting to get into content creation. I did a whole video. Actually, I've done several things recently that's relevant to this. So on in my studio, inside of recent live streams, under content live, I did one earlier today. That would be a great one for you to check out. For some reason, it doesn't show me the button to copy the link to this. So this would be a good one. And YouTube, all things open, James Q Quick. This. Oh, interesting. Wow. Huh. That doesn't have a link to. Okay. Let me get you one more link. Sorry. Under playlist and speaking or conference talks, I think. I have to check. There we go. And let's go to. I don't know if people could hear that, but. And how content creation took my career to the next level. There's this video. Short answer is just get started. A lot of people wait too long to create content because they don't have ideas, they don't have equipment, blah, blah, blah. Like just get started and share consistently. All the stuff that you work on, just share. And if you get in the habit of sharing that consistently, you'll get better and better. And eventually have to have growth. But number one thing is getting started and then consistency and try to get better every time you create a piece of content. Nikki T, thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Train Wi-Fi is spotty. That's fair. 1990s internet. Thanks for hanging out, man. I'll see you later. All right, so we have our admin page. Now the other, let's see, SvelteKit protected route. Let's see how we can do this. Now, we could private routes with that. I'm in that way with blogging. It's perfectionism, procrastination. Yeah, that make your content as simple as you possibly can. In the sense that like it because you're creating simple content, you can then stay consistent is what I'm saying. So let's see. So one of the things I want to add, and this will probably change, and I may end up adapting like server side validation to this, but let's go into the admin page and let's just go ahead and protect this page. So what we're going to do is on what's it called? On page load? I forget what it's called. Rats. Oh my gosh. What's the on page loads felt? What's that? On load or on mount? On mount? Mount schedules a callback to run as soon as the component has been must be called during the component's initialization. Cool. So in the on mount function, I check for authenticated user. So this can come from supabase.auth.user, get user. And actually there's also get session, which I think is technically what we want. So get user is going to make a request to the Supabase backend. Get session is just looking at the stuff it has in local storage, which is what we want. So we'll mark this as a sync. Well, actually this may not, you probably need to fix the import. Oh yeah. Thanks. Good call. So on mount is coming from, here we go, from Svelte. Thank you. I think on mounted would flash the screen for a moment, which you might not want. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. So ideally what I would like to have is this stuff validated on the server. But for the purposes of like making progress in this demo, I'm going to stick with just front end authentication. And then I want to try out the backend authentication that Supabase has newer libraries for as well. So eventually I will do that and kind of get rid of that. But for now, we can just kind of stick with this. The problem with this is, let's see what this response looks like. The problem with this is that I don't think Supabase, this page will call on mount before Supabase has officially decided whether or not I'm logged in, most likely. So I bet, even though I am logged in, and you can see that with my access token and stuff in there, I bet, does this actually pull the session data? It does. Okay, cool. So I need to check inside of here, data, and then I want to check data.session. Is that what it is? Hey, interesting. So I can check if no data.session, redirect the user to go to homepage. That makes sense. Now, what should happen is if I go into application, get rid of local storage, refresh this, it should send me back there. Nice. And then I can go to log in, email, password, LBT admin, admin page, and I am logged in. Cool. So that actually worked. They have no before on mount, so you need to have a page.server to run your backend off first. Yes. Yep. Yeah. The thing I just have to get experiment with is that new SDK from Auth0, or not Auth0, from Supabase auth helpers for SvelteKit. SvelteKit. So this is the thing, configuration, this stuff, URL. Create client, synchronizing the page store. So there's a few things in here I would need to do, which is fine. Client side data fetching. So that is something I would like to work through. So maybe we'll come back to that in a future stream. I have a message on Facebook, which I don't get many of those. I wonder what it is. Do you hate sometimes where Apple is inconsistent about showing you previews of your thing? Oh, okay. Not something I care about. Okay. So we're able to log in and we're able to protect the admin dashboard so far, at least on the client. So that works. So one of the things I would like to do is then load. So if we're here, I want to load from Supabase. I want to load in the data from Share. So does anybody have a piece of content that you've created recently that you would like to volunteer to use as Share content? I am going to create something. User ID for Discord user. View data. Can I not do that? Do I have a Discord user created? I do. Copy cell content. Let's come down to share. I'm going to associate this with my user. So I'm going to create the ID, the user ID, which is there. So that's going to be the ID of the Discord user. I'm going to just share my website. I'm going to say, James, cool website. Wow, YouTube is almost a full 4 seconds behind Twitch. I'm not surprised. I've actually seen that before. James has a really cool website. I think I have a profile pic. Cool. Tweetable. How do I? True. Is that allowed? I'm not sure that's. Not sure that's valid. Actually, I'll just have. Ooh, those should have default values, by the way. So I should update those. Edit column. Bool. Default value is false. Cool. All right. Tweetable. Edit column. Default value false. Edit column. Default value false. And edit column, default value, false. Cool. Okay. So this should, so it gives you a little checkbox there. All right. So there's a piece of content. And then what I want to do is probably at this point create a store. We actually have a content store. So export const load content from, I'll call this Supabase, or actually let's just say load content. And this is going to be an async function. And we want to use Supabase, and we want to say Supabase dot uh auth functions from, is it from? And this will be from the share. And then we want to not insert, let's just fetch. And then let me just check the documentation here under database and fetch. So something like this. And this is going to be from the share table. And we'll select all and data. Fine, that's fine. Air. And then actually get rid of that for now. I'm not going to use that right now. We want to get the data. Let's just log out the data. And actually, this will attach the data to B. So we want to set the content set to the data that gets returned there. Argument type or null if data, set the data. Argument type any is not assignable to never. Type any is not, what does that mean? All right, what did it say at first? Data back, argument of type any or null is not assignable to type. What's the type never? Select. What's the type? What did I miss there? Never is a cool type. I'm assuming, I actually don't understand never, but I'm assuming that means like return, like it won't return anything, but why is this never in here? Sounds like a TypeScript error. Well, what's up? Anthony, sounds like a TypeScript error. I'm not sure. Can I just run this and say I don't care? And then inside of admin, I'm actually going to, you don't assign a type to the content variable. You don't assign a type. In here, I don't. Oh, this is another thing I need to check out is how to generate. I think this is a new thing. Generate Supabase TypeScript types. Generating types. This is another thing I wanted to do. You can install the CLI. Oh. You need writable my type. Can I just call it any? Or wait, no. Can I say you need I'm confused. Zod will generate types for you. I think there's a Supabase thing that will do it. You need writable my type. Oh, you're saying, sorry. Okay. You're saying in here, define what the generic type is. And in here, can I just say any then? Still no? Okay. So this is complaining about null. So if we get data, then set the data. Okay. Good for now. I want to come back to generating the types here in a second because that stuff is pretty cool. And first, we should check if error handle error and then log out the error. And I can log this out just out of curiosity. And let's just call the load content function here. And let's go back to the admin page and let's just access the content comes from the store. And I think we're already doing this on the content page. But let's take content and iterate through it. You're making me realize how much SvelteKit I've forgotten. It's funny. Like once, yeah. If you're not using it every day, like I know the stuff's there and I just need to go and find it most of the time. I probably won't have the username to start because I'll need to update the query for that. But I should be able to get something like this. And maybe that'll just work. I don't actually know. Haha! Admin page. Data. Boom. Um I think people are probably not as excited as I am about this. But it's cool. And the other thing is I can also inside, I think this will also log out on here as what? Maybe not. Console. Cannot read properties of undefined. Oh, username, because I don't have that yet. So let's go back to the content page. And that loads. Boom. Thank for people who commented about that. Thank you for supporting me. Because I'm just in my house, in my office by myself, except for everybody that's in chat. So thank you for supporting that. So there is that data. Interestingly, there's a different set of data that I need to load for an admin. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So I'm gonna go back to the content store and I'm gonna create a new function that is the load admin content. Admin content. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I'm going to create another one of these for admin content. It'll still come from share. We will get all the properties, but then I'll set this to admin content because the data that gets sent to the browser should not include details about emailable and emailed, or at least in the content page. So if I want to select, I forget what does this look like? Pass a object here for the properties that we want. So if I want a title description, I think it's one sec. I think it's field. Nope. Okay. How do we do with the I do have, let me know if this works. Hold on. For here. Can you all hear the clap? Can you hear that? And then what about this? Can you hear that too? I don't actually know if I have those set up. But anyway, thank you, Will, for the support on YouTube. Really appreciate it. No clap. You really didn't hear that? Does that not? I wonder if, hold on one second. Am I coming through the right audio this whole time? I am, I think. That doesn't come through. Lame. How does that not come through? Nope, didn't hear. Huh. Does anybody know why? So that should also. So any loopback users here? So the input from, it's not from Hyper, it's from the Stream Deck. But that's still going to, wait. So I think I need to duplicate this here. Did I need to have that this whole time and I just didn't? Can you hear it now? Yeah! That's coming through both of these. This is the only thing that I'm monitoring. I would have thought channels 3 and 4 are also going out. Did you hear that or do you still not hear that? Yeah! Okay, I can see that coming through. I wonder, okay, cool. Also, I'm seeing like new people hanging out. Tony and Noobtacular. One, thanks for being here. Go again, so I'm not crazy. I'm sure people are probably annoyed at that sound effect. Anyway, this goes back to thank you, Will, for the support. Um, so, and I think Noah said it's a comma separated prop one to where not SvelteKit auth, not the types yet. Go back here. Is it a property called fields? Or do you just JavaScript? Okay, so it is just in the select and it is a comma separated. So I want what fields do I want to query for this? I want to do like title and description. Is that all I'm using on the front end content page? Title and link, actually. So title, link. And actually, sorry, that should go on the non-admin content. There. Sure, I'll have to watch this later on YouTube. I gotta go to work. Ryan, thanks for hanging out, man. Always appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat. So I want to verify, not here, but here, that that still comes, and then the content page should still load everything it needs, and it is just loading those properties. So we're not leaking information that we don't want other people to know. In the admin side of the house, let's go to the admin page. I want to pull in not content, but admin content. Do that there. And this should pull in the admin content, which will include more properties. But I also want to include, and Noah, maybe you can help me with this. I also want to include the, what's it called? The relationship to the Discord user so that I can grab their username. So Supabase relationship query. I always forget exactly what this looks like. Fetch data, which is actually where I was. Foreign key relationships, JavaScript. Oh, cool. So okay, so let's try this out. So in this query, load admin content, we want to query title, description, and then inside of this on a share, we have the user ID. So is this referencing, we should reference the table and then the, yes. Okay, let's start. Okay, so Noah, I think is on to it. That's what I was slowly getting to in my head. So Discord user is the table, and then from Discord user, what props do I want to get? I want to get the username. I believe anything Supabase gets my attention. Dave Pratt, I agree with you. Supabase is pretty freaking amazing. So, all right, so we want to query the username, and that's probably it from here. But let's go into the admin page. I want to log out this data, admin content. I want to see if this is actually querying the stuff correctly. So content store. Now that may be the other log, or no, it's not. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. That's why. So there should be admin. Oh, I need to. That's still coming from the other one. One sec. So get rid of this. Oh, not that. This. Let's do console log of admin content here so I can see it. And then if I wanted to log it here, it would need to be $sign to get the actual value. Is it not $sign? Is that not right? Stop. Wrong shortcut. I didn't get anything. Or it looks like it didn't get anything. So that's on the page svelte and admin. Is that the right thing? I bet you also I'm not loading the admin content. Doop, 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 doop. Got it. Where was I logging? I did end up logging it though, right? Wait, I'm confused. So it's showing up here in page.svelte. Am I logging in the store too? This is probably not loaded yet. But inside of content store, load admin content, console log. Oh. that. That's what I was doing. All right, so this should have Discord user null. Lame. Prefix the line with to have it run. Oh yeah, that's true. I always forget about that. So what Noah is saying is inside of this page is to do a $ colon and then console log of admin content. I think that will log it out on the front end. So we'll probably see it twice. Cool. So there's the data. But we didn't get a Discord user. So we need to figure that out. Kelvin hanging out in the chat. What's up, Kelvin? Let's just double check that we have. So the Discord user is the name of the table. And I guess, so Supabase is going to infer load admin content from here. It's going to know what the relationship is. So it's going to know that I've got a property that has a relationship with Discord user. I wonder actually what happens if you have two properties that have relationships to another table, which I will have that issue in a second. But from Discord user, I want to grab the username. What are we building? It's 1:47 in Nigeria. It's so late, Kelvin. What are you doing up? Actually, someone just scheduled an event on my calendar, like just now, which is interesting because it's kind of late here too. So admin content. So title, description, Discord user. Does this have to be? Let's actually see. Can I see an example of this? So select. And this is from the cities table. And then you have the parentheses for the name. Query foreign table through a join table. Team query the same foreign. Oh, here's what I was just asking. Querying the same foreign table. Oh, that's cool. So you get, yeah. So, oh, sorry, Kelvin. So we're working on incorporating Supabase into the Learn, Build, Teach Discord bot and website right now. So it's kind of fun stuff. So, I wonder what. And inside of here, we do have a relationship with the user ID to the Discord user. That should match. I wonder what we're missing. Just finishing Wednesday. I want to study some JavaScript. Seeing Wednesday. Is that that's a new TV show on Netflix, right? Might need Discord user X. You have to explain that to me because I'm not sure what that means. That got nothing. Discord user exclamation. Oh, and you could do that too for everything. Oh, there may actually be. Is there like a? Okay. Do those have to touch by any chance? No. Discord user null. Huh. I named the Discord bot after it. Oh, cool. Started building a Discord bot. Mames? Is that a Spanish word? I wonder where the accent come from. Where do you host a LBT bot? This is hosted on Heroku right now. Okay. Yeah, I wonder what we're missing. So Supabase query relationship select. Let's find an example. Oh, and they show the exact same one there. So supplier based on that property. Do you think we need to make sure that table name is Discord user, which it is? You might have to select the user ID column in order. Oh, that'd be interesting. So select the user ID here. Your keyboard was at the Spanish. Oh yeah, Kelvin, you're practicing Spanish, right? I could help you with that, or we can talk in Spanish at some point if you ever want to. So it's grabbing the Discord, it's grabbing the user ID, but not the Discord user. Interesting. What was it I just saw here that maybe? So this is where we would define the I think this is the table, so Discord user, and this is the user ID, and this is that. Oh, and I want this to, if I want to go across multiple lines, do that. User ID. Huh, still null. Very interesting. Okay. Not sure what to do with that, but I do want to go ahead and get other properties. So I want other properties like tweeted, emailed, tweetable, and emailable. I do want to get those properties. So just so I can see that those are coming through. There's all of that stuff. Cool. Huh. Where you want to show multiple tables from countries. This is level deep. I'm not sure what we're missing there. So Discord user, say give me the username. Is there any like syntactical thing where you can't have spaces around that or something? Discord user still no. Oh, ooh. Smart Jamesers might have. Oh, maybe no, I don't. No active. So I think get rid of that. Kudo. Aha. um Discord user has RLS enabled, but no RLS policies. So, and this is actually the power of Supabase. This is a good thing, even though I didn't pay enough attention to it. Benefit of this means I couldn't query it because I haven't enabled a query rule. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to limit the amount of people that can log RLS. Yeah, no, I'm going to limit the amount of people that can log in. So I'm going to turn off signups for this eventually when I'm ready. So only admins can create accounts. I'm going to create a new policy. I'm going to say get started quickly. I'm going to enable read access to everyone. I do want read access to everyone. Have to drop. Noah, thanks so much for being here and for answering questions and stuff. I really, really appreciate it. This has been a ton of fun. You've been a big help. So thank you so much for showing up. This has been great. So what I want to do actually is I want to allow all this stuff CRUD for authenticated users. I want this to apply to all, and I want this to be to authenticated. Oh, actually, which part of that do I need to? Because I don't need to copy that whole thing. With check true on public Discord user to for insert to. Can I just say authenticated? Let's see. Supabase RLS authenticated. Policies using would translate this to whenever select or auth. Okay, create policies and individuals. Helper functions auth returns to JWT. Allow read access. Create a table called profiles. Restrict updates. Only anon or authenticated users. So is it just 2 authenticated? Is that what it is? So I want to only allow authenticated users, which in this case, we probably will up this at some point to have a role, but for now I'm going to limit the accounts that can sign up for this. I want to do this for authenticated users. to authenticated. Oh, what? Is it just authenticated then? Is that a thing? Authenticated? No. Um, where was the to authenticated and on profiles for select? It's actually slightly unfortunate that the code snippets don't quite keep up with what we just saw. So I'm gonna start over. Let's go back to view templates. Let's do authenticated. Use this template. Oh, target. Oh, wow. It just has it in there. What? Oh, that's cool. So if they're authenticated, they should be able to do this. So it has a target roles. That's cool. I did not know that. Huh. Okay. If we're lucky, this will be another celebratory moment for people if you're ready. This should mean I should just be able to refresh, have data, have a freaking Discord user. Yes. Yes. And we will need to do the same thing. So for our shares, let's enable RLS, confirm. We will add a new policy. Ken Jones is still hanging out. Thanks, Ken Jones. Appreciate it. Let's get started quickly with a template. We want to do this for all. We want to say only authenticated users. If you're authenticated, you can make changes, which means for a given card. So inside of here, let's just have like several of these. So we'll have like a P tag. This will look ugly for now, but a P tag and it'll be like emailed or emailable. Um, emailable, and then we'll have item.emailable, tweetable. All right, let me just see if that data is coming back. We get that on the got two tabs open on the admin page. So false, false, false. Okay, and then have a button. Have a button approve for email and Twitter. On click. I think it's on Francisco. Thank you for the clapping. Oh, we can do this on here. Awesome. On click approve. Have approve share. And then inside of here, inside of our store, we can have export const approve share equals, and then have it be async, have an ID of string. We'll say Supabase dot from share dot update ID, and then the properties is emailable, true, and tweetable, true. Const data error. Is that how that works? Do an actual function here. All destructure elements are unused. Fair enough. Let's do data and error. Emailable. Not count. Okay, so there. Oh, I think it's. I need to go double check the. I forget the API is slightly different. Not upsert, but update. Dot update. Oh, and then the ID is here. Okay. equals ID. We'll update this thing where the ID equals ID. Property error does not exist on, it's probably because we need to wait for it. Cool. Approve share. So we'll call approve share. We'll pass in the ID, item dot ID, to that function. So will be a function that calls that function. This is where like I feel like this starts to really speed stuff up. Now what's interesting is after we do that, we're not going to see it reflected in the UI. Code, type UID, invalid, syntax, ID equals undefined. Okay, so that didn't get the ID. Oh, probably because we didn't query the ID. And the content. If I refresh the page, true. Boom. I think it's cool. I wonder if I kind of want to keep working on this. I wonder if my wife will be mad. I'm having fun. I don't know if you all are having fun. I'm having fun. I sent her a message to see. I'll let you know, but I think it's cool. So there's uh Anthony, thank you. So approved for Twitter. Um that's cool. And so the other thing we're missing is so inside of the store, we it's actually gonna be unfortunately tricky. So we need to updated updated. I probably need to call these consistently shares or content. We're gonna take our I actually don't know the best way to do this. So somebody in SvelteKit world can help me. But all right, so let's say updated content. Let's say the actual content. I guess we do this way. Content update. And let's actually look at SvelteKit writable update. Decrementer store. That didn't have what I wanted. Update and oh, so you get okay, so you get prev content and then what do you return? You take the previous content, prev content, and you map through it and you get an individual piece of content. And then for that individual piece of content, if content.id equals the input ID, say content.emailable equals true, and tweetable, or excuse me, content. Do y'all know what I'm doing? Content.tweetable equals true. And then return content. Here. Argument is not assignable to updater. Type void. Oh, return this. That worked correctly. So one thing that we can do is we can test this out by going into our data. Let's go back to our tables, our table editor, and let's go into share. And let's mark one of these as, or both. And let's go into the admin page. Let's load this. Let's approve. That did not do what I think it should. But I bet it saved in here. Yep. So we missed something. All right, let's refresh this. Turn it off again. This is actually one of the nice things about having a dashboard inside of here for the database. So turn that off. All right, so this should be false. And let's just comment that out for now. And new content equals our new content. I want to see if that is working. So if the ID of the one that we're iterating through equals the input ID, then we need to update the two values. Content store. And that is is that the problem? Wait. Not content, but admin content. Let get you. All right, so it should still be false on refresh. No, it's true. Cool. So now this should work with the database as well. Nice. And that should be reflected when I refresh the page. It should be inside of here. I wonder if Jess is asleep. I sent her a message and she didn't respond. So I'm wondering if she is just asleep. But how many people do I have still hanging out, by the way? It's been one of the longest streams I've ever done. It's been fun. So there's our content. From an admin perspective, I also want to order these. Ryan's still hanging out on Twitch. Thank you. So let's go to a select. Let's just do order. Not an order. Sort. Brandon Roberts just popped popped back in. Yes, Noobtacular. These are on GitHub. So specifically the website that I'm working on is this one. So feel free to go and check that out if you want. Yeah. Fetch select properties count. Oh, that's one thing I need to do at some point is get into pagination with filters. That's what it is. Filter or no, not filter. Select equal. Wait, that's not what I meant. I need a sort. I love reading code if it works. Fair enough. Yeah, so the stuff that's there works. This will be a new branch that I'm working on independently. So way it counts. Optional head. Filters, modifiers. Filters equal, less than, contains, range, overlaps, text search, match, modifiers, range, order. That's what it is. All right. So we want to, in this case, want to order by the updated at property, and we'll say ascending is true. I think that's right. So that'll go on the end of. So we want this to actually be descending. So to test this out, let's create another share. User ID is that. Link will be, which my link be? Let's do Discord or ZBT website. Learn, build, teach, site. This is the most amazing site. We're not using the image yet. Default, default, default. Save. Share violates foreign key relationship. Tell me why. Insert update. Share. User ID. You're unable to find the Discord user? Oh, I copied from the wrong thing. How far back in my clipboard is this thing? Scrolling through clipboard. Hopefully this is it. View data. Ah, there it is. Cool. Okay. That's great. Like, it's actually pretty good feedback that it gives you. So, what I should see, the most recent one is the learn, build, teach. So, perhaps you need to reference the column created at. Oh, not updated at. Yep. Created at. Wow, it even gave me a guess at like, that's cool. Huh. I'm going to take a picture of that. That's actually really cool that Supabase SDK would have enough of an idea to tell you to suggest another column that you may have met. That's kind of cool. Okay, so James Cool website is on top, but we actually want this to be descending. So this will be false. False. And then this was false also. So this should switch them to be learn, build, teach on top. Sweet. Thanks, Joe. This content has been super relevant for me and I really appreciate it. But according to my wife, it's dinner time. I'm dropping. Definitely catch the rest on YouTube. And thanks for hanging out. Really glad you enjoyed it. If you have additional questions or anything later on, just let me know. But yeah, thanks a ton for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Cool. Okay. So this is starting to get a lot of stuff together, which is really nice. It's really cool. So inside of here, I want to be able to approve stuff for email and Twitter. I also want to be able to mark these things as the boss has spoken. I know. As let's see. Let's copy these. So this will be emailed and tweeted. Yep. And actually, I think what I want to do is have not just approve share, but have update share and then have I guess just pass in updates. I think that would work. And then pass in the updates here. Like that. And then inside of admin page, I can call this another object that says emailable true and tweetable true. See if that works also. Client store does not provide an export. Approve, share, yes, update, share. Brian is that or not Brian? Sorry, Brandon is asking, are you using Supabase API or Prisma? I was using Prisma before. Now that I'm using Supabase, I'm just using the stuff directly in Supabase. Yeah. All right, so let's just see if this still works. So approve for email and Twitter, updated, and then it flipped, emailed and tweeted also, which is not what I wanted. Let's see, emailable, tweetable. Wonder why it did that. How did it do that? Updates, content, emailable. We actually do want to update this. Return the content plus the updates. I'm not sure. How did that update the emailed or and tweeted as well? Emailable, tweetable. How did it do that? Tweeted. Oh, that's why. Tweeted. Okay, so now we should approve what the true, emailed, and tweeted are still false. And then I could pull in. Do I have const kudo emojis? Approve emoji. Let me see if I set a source const ts. Email sent. Twitter approved emoji. Wonder if that should be tweeted emoji. Twitter approved email sent. Hmm. It should be tweeted emoji. Tweet. Bird. Else. I need another. Use the seal for now. Tweeted emoji. Actually, you probably should name this like admin emojis for those. And how I want to do this. So button click. This will be up. Actually, it should be update share item.id and some parameters. Bun, 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 button. Makes sense what I'm doing? Anybody? Update share. Share. Want these is not defined. Oh, this should all be admin emojis dot. Too much. I'm doing too much here. 500 admin page failed. Source content imported from cannot find module. Why? Source like this. Do I have a path set up for that? tsconfig, SvelteKonfig, aliases. Static const. Here. I wonder if that will come in okay now. Nice. Okay. This should approve them. This should unapprove them. That didn't work. Oh, because I didn't actually add those updates. Cool. So update share for both of them will be this. And then if I want to do the opposite, that'll be false. False. Email sent will be emailed. True. Email approved. Emailable. True. Twitter approved. Tweetable. True. Tweeted. True. Gotta catch some sleep. Kelvin, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it. This is cute. All right. Let's see if this works. So this should say false to both of these. This should say update one of the emailed. This should say emailable. This should say tweetable. This should say tweeted. So I probably need to get like some better way to do this, obviously, but that's kind of a cool start. Also, this is going to be by item.discord user. Actually, can I rename a property that I query with Supabase? So when I query Discord user, rename property Supabase select. Oh, I need to go. I'm having way too much fun doing this though. The admin panel tutorial, 20 minutes. Alias, Supabase, select. Huh. Because I would much rather. This is definitely going to be. I feel like you should be able to. That I'm just making shit up. I don't know that. Or user. Yeah, that didn't work. I feel like there's a way to alias this at some point. I think I am going to drop. I'm having a ton of fun though working on this. Hopefully people have enjoyed it too. Expect more on this. I'll probably do some more tomorrow because I think it's pretty fun. Anyway, let me know if you have any thoughts or additional questions on SvelteKit and Supabase. Expect more content on this. Again, it's super fun stuff. SvelteKit, Supabase are both just absolutely incredible. So I guess I'm going to call it a night. I'll probably get back on and do some of this tomorrow too. So keep an eye out for that. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to participate in this, send me a message and give me an idea of something you'd like to contribute, and I can kind of set aside an issue or something for you to work on this branch if you'd like to collaborate on this, because I think that would be cool. Anyway, great to see you all. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. More to come, and I'll catch you later. Good night.